Alright champ, let's talk about the most stupid money management strategy known to man. Now I always thought that this one was a subject that I would never ever have to talk about in one of these videos, but it seems that I have to set some people straight. So here we go. You only need to look at the anti-binary options videos that we have on this very channel to see how many people are using the Martingale money management strategy. And even worse than that, how many of those people actually think it's a fantastic idea. So before I go on to explain how stupid the whole thing is, let's first of all discuss what a martingale strategy actually is first of all. And by the way, if you are using a martingale strategy right now with your trading, please don't be offended by me calling it stupid. Just do the smart thing and abandon it forever. You know, we all make mistakes. I've made loads of mistakes in trading, but the important thing is that we actually learn from them and move on from them and don't keep making the same mistake again and again. Then that really would be stupid. A martingale strategy is originally a betting system that's been adapted and transferred over to trading to be used as a sort of money management strategy. And you'll especially see it used in versions of so-called trading that verge on gambling themselves, such as binary options. And basically what it is that every time you trade, if you lose, the next trade you're going to increase your position size so that if you win that trade or win that bet or whatever it is you're doing, it's going to cover your previous losses. So you basically keep on going, and if you keep losing, you'll keep increasing your stake on the next trade, the next position, the next whatever, until you finally recover all of the losses up until that point. So you keep on increasing until your first win. So let's start with a simple example. Let's say you start off with £10 at risk, and every time you lose, you're going to have to double the risk in order to make back what you lost. So you start with £10, then if you lose that one, the next one's going to be £20, then £40, and so on. Now in this very basic example, after a losing streak of 7 trades, so you lose 7 times in a row, you're already up to needing £1,280 as the next position. And that's in addition to all of the losses that you've accumulated from those 7 losing positions that you had previously. So you can see it's significantly more than that initial £10. You're suddenly risking £1,280 plus the losses you've already lost just to make back what was originally a £10 stake. Now some of you might be sitting there saying, yeah, but what are the chances of losing 7 times in a row? And the answer is, it's actually surprisingly very high. We even discussed this in a video about a month ago about the Monte Carlo fallacy. If you haven't seen that video yet, then watch it, the link's in the description box, and it's all about this very same thing of like not really believing that you can have that many of the same occurrences in a row. Like even if your success rate is 70%, okay, 70% success rate. Now forgetting the fact that that's incredibly difficult to maintain consistently over the long term, then just that, if you have 100 trades, your chance of hitting 7 losses in a row with a 70% success rate is 1.44%. Okay, from 100 trades at 70% success rate, your chance of 7 losses in a row is 1.44%. So let's say with your incredible 70% consistent success rate every single day, 70%, right? Then let's say you do 5 trades per day. And you only work for 200 days in the year because the rest of it you're sunning yourself in the Caribbean, spending all that money you're making from your fantastic success rate. So that's 200 times 5 trades a day, that's 1,000 trades. Now, the chance of having a losing streak of 7 in those 1,000 trades is now 14%. So the chances as you're increasing the trade numbers is going up much higher. Now imagine if your success rate isn't 70%. Suddenly the chance of having 7 losses in a row or even more is going to be extremely high. So if you get something like 10 losses in a row, which can happen as well, even with the best traders in the world, then suddenly you're needing over £10,000 for that one position for trades that started with £10. Now, let's say the trade starts with £100. That means that after 10 losses, you're going to need over £100,000. Like, it just builds up. It's just becomes so ridiculous. It's just not sustainable. Now, I'm clearly not a statistician or mathematician or anything like that. I'm a trader, so I can tell you it in practical terms. But if you really want to see the mathematical studies that prove that martingale strategies are not suitable, then just do a Google search. There's plenty of them by very intelligent mathematicians who can break it down and show that the only way that a martingale strategy is going to be successful for you over the long term is if you have an infinite supply of money, which I don't know about you sitting there maybe in your gold throne, but I certainly don't have an infinite supply of money. And when I say infinite, I mean never-ending supply of money. That's the only way that the martingale strategy is going to be successful for anyone over the long term. Otherwise, it's only a matter of time before you hit those long losing streaks and wipe it all out. This is why so many of the shady brokers, and particularly binary option brokers, have such poor business ethics and encourage their clients to start with martingale strategies, because they know that that's the quickest way for their clients to lose their money. And in those cases, the broker will be benefiting from them losing. They'll be booking them or whatever else to try and get that deposit. So the quickest way to get the deposit is to encourage them to use a martingale strategy. Now, if you're watching this and you're one of those brokers, go f yourself. And if you're watching this and you've been introduced by one of these brokers that have encouraged you to use a martingale strategy, tell that broker to go themselves and find a new broker, because they are not trustworthy and they're not going to be beneficial to you. Any money management strategy that involves increasing your position when you're losing is destined to fail. And that includes averaging down your entry point when you're losing on a trade. So getting a lower entry point to try and get a better average. If you ask most professional traders who have been consistently successful over the long term, they'll usually tell you that one rule is that you never add to a losing position. Never ever. And believe me guys, I know how tempting it is when you've done your analysis and you think that you're 100% correct in this situation and the market starts going against you. And you take a look at it and you're still convinced, you've got conviction in the trade that you've got open, and you think, if I open another trade here, I've got a much better average entry price. I know it's tempting, but the chances are if the market's going against you, there's a very good chance that you're wrong in this situation and you're just increasing your exposure. You know, this is a really quick way to burn through your capital, because all you're doing is increasing your risk exposure on the trades where you're not performing very well. The whole point of trading is that you're meant to cut your losses as soon as possible and increase your winning positions. So if you're adding to losing positions, especially if you're doing a martingale strategy, all you're going to do eventually is be wrong on one occasion, or maybe more than one occasion, but have increased your risk exposure so much that it really destroys your account and takes out far more than you ever wanted to. Now, like I said before, if you do a Google search, you're going to find loads of statistical studies about martingale, and you can find a much better explanation than what I've done here. The whole point of this video was to just bring it to your attention, so that if you're using a strategy like this, you start to appreciate that it's maybe not the right thing to do, and maybe go and do your research. Now, if you do look on Google, make sure that you look at statistical studies and mathematical studies, and not a random blog post by someone praising martingale strategy, and especially if they've got affiliate links and stuff like that on there. Stay away from those ones. Make sure you look at the actual facts and figures and understand truly what's behind the martingale strategy, whether it's likely to work, what are the probabilities of it working, and how much money you can potentially burn through by following that approach. There are, of course, going to be people that tell you that the martingale strategy is great, and they're probably even going to comment on this video saying how wrong I am and how they made a fortune using the martingale strategy. But those people are either brokers who are going to benefit from people using the martingale strategy, or they're beginner traders who have had some beginner luck and they haven't yet lost and figured out the hard way how bad that strategy is. So if someone does try and convince you to use a martingale strategy, you could just point to them or reply to them and say, no, you are fake news.
You are fake news.
You don't know about trading. And if you're using this strategy yourself or averaging down on your trades like I mentioned before, just have a rethink and change what you're doing. Go away and research risk and money management and start doing it the proper way. But anyway, champ, I think that's all for this video. It was more of a public service announcement than a lesson, but if you're using that approach, I just wanted to get this message across to you because it's going to save you money in the long run. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be teaching you about how to learn to trade when effectively you're just going to lose it all on a silly money management approach. So I'd rather get you on the right track now. If you have any questions about this video, any comments, leave them below. If you disagree with me and you think martingale strategy is great, then feel free to leave a comment and get proven wrong. Fine by me. If you want more videos about learning to trade, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave thumbs up if you like the video, join our Inner Circle mailing list for access to our 4-part video mini-series about our exclusive and unique method of trading. Thanks a lot for watching, take care, I'll see you in the next video, bye.